Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 3 of Aim to be a Pokemon Master titled Brock, Cilan, and the Forest Witch just dropped, and Brock and Cilan returned this episode. How will it go? Let's find out. We finally get an idea of where we might be in this series, and even though it's not explicitly said, this episode seems to take place in Galar. The restaurant looks like it's in Stow Inside, and the forest that our heroes go to later in the episode looks like Glenwood Tangle. Anyways, Ash and Misty are in Galar when they're hungry and go to a restaurant to eat. Inside the restaurant, they order and begin eating, but the food tastes familiar. Why? Turns out, the chef is none other than Brock. Brock is working in this restaurant because he's following this blonde girl named Kathy here, and he's become the chef of this place. I thought he had officially become a doctor when we saw him in the Arceus special. However, it seems I may have misunderstood. I don't know, am I wrong on this? Let me know in the comments, because I thought he had officially become a doctor, so that's why he was wearing the entire uniform, but I guess not. Anyways, he's now the chef and happy to be following this girl, but he's heartbroken when he finds out that she has a boyfriend who's returning from learning how to cook food to take over this restaurant and getting married with her. Outside in the streets, Brock is down bad under some stairs depressed when Cilan shows up. He meets with Ash and introduces himself to Misty, who recognizes him from Ash's fishing lure from last episode, and he explains to her that he's a Pokemon connoisseur. Ash then introduces him to Brock, who Cilan recognizes from both the Best Wishes special episode, as well as the fact that they watched Ash's match together. He sees that Brock is bummed, so when Ash asks him for advice to cheer up Brock, he tells him about a nearby flower field where they head to. Once in the flower forest, Brock tries to forget about Kathy, but he can't, and he's giving off massive negative energy. That's when we see a Hatterene in the nearby forest. It senses Brock's negative emotions, and it uses its psychic powers to lure him in. When our heroes try to chase him to stop him, Hatterene stops them using its psychic power before going into the forest with Brock. Eventually, our heroes get inside the forest, where they try to figure out why Brock went into the forest, and that's when the Pokemon connoisseur / detective of Cilan comes into play. He explains to Ash and Misty that Hatterene is known as the Witch of the Forest, and it wants to trap Brock in the forest with its negative emotions forever, since it loves negative emotions. So our heroes have to save him. As they're searching for him, they come across a Hatterene. After the Pokédex tells them that it can sense emotions, they decide to ask it for help. It agrees and it jumps on Ash's head, who visualizes Brock, and then Hatterene tries to find Brock with that info, and it feels the negative aura, so they start to follow Hatterene. As they're following it, they come across a Hatterene when the Pokédex tells them that Hatterenes are hostile towards anyone with any sort of strong emotions. So since Ash was thinking really hard about saving Brock, it is going to be upset at them, and it chases them to attack them. Eventually, however, they lose it, and Hatterene once again starts searching for Brock and finds him. However, this time, Hatterene senses them coming. As they're looking for Brock, Ash's stomach growls and he talks about wanting to eat his favorite food, croquettes made by his mom. Same with Cilan, who wants to eat a lunch meal made by Ingo and Emmett. And Misty gets scared as she's walking when a Joltik comes down from the tree. Cilan actually asks the smart question here, which is, if there's a bug type that's also water type, how does Misty feel about them? I'm sure people have questioned that in the past too, but we get no conclusive answers here either way. Regardless, Hatterene was behind some bushes following them when it finds out all of this information, so it uses its psychic powers on all three of our heroes, like it did to Brock, to make them fall for their strong emotions. Ash runs one way because he thinks his mom is calling him to eat, Misty goes another way because she thinks she sees a bunch of water Pokemon, and Cilan goes a third way because he thinks he sees Ingo and Emmett's lunch cart. However, all three of them end up back outside the forest with their dreams about to turn into nightmares, and then they get out of it when Pikachu Thunder shocks all three of them with Thunderbolt. I skipped talking about this earlier, but Team Rocket was also following our heroes inside the forest before they complain about being hungry. However, inside the forest, they're chased away by Hatterene. We'll come back to them later. They go back in the forest and they finally get close to Hatterene and Brock, who's looking depressed. But before they can save him, Cilan recommends using Hatterene to figure out what emotions Brock is feeling, relaying it to Pikachu, who will act it out and tell our heroes. Basically, Hatterene is using illusions to make Brock really happy and then break his heart over and over again to get an even stronger negative emotion. Ash decides he's had enough, so jumps out to confront Hatterene. However, Hatterene uses his psychic power to make the illusion that it's all Kathy's boyfriend, so Brock brings out his Steelix to battle against Ash. Hatterene also uses psychic moves against Ash, who has to dodge and protect Hatterene, and doing this eventually snaps Brock out of it. When Hatterene gets hurt, Brock is able to take care of it, and doing that gets rid of Brock's negative emotions. And Hatterene is no longer fiending for it. Once Brock gives back Hatterene to Hatterene, it thanks them, and overlooking all of this is Latias from the first episode that flies away. I'm telling you, Ash is going to catch that thing in the final episode. Anyways, this convinces Brock that he has yet much to learn, so he decides to travel with Ash and Misty. Ash talks about how much Brock and Cilan's food are gonna taste great, but Cilan informs them that this is where he's departing with them. He's going to go meet Ingo and Emmett's debuting new cart, and he wants to try their food. He wishes them best wishes and safe travels, and the two parties depart. Back in the forest, Team Rocket are stuck inside of Hatterene's illusions, where they think they're perpetually eating food, but they're also perpetually hungry. It's played off as a joke, of course, but that is horrifying if you think about it. Imagine being stuck on something like that. The episode really does a good job of portraying Hatterene as this evil witch Pokemon, and it succeeds in showing how its evolutions make that transition. And overall, this episode is really fun. It does a great job of reintroducing Brock while giving us a fun adventure where they sneakily teach you about all of the characters and what they like and what they don't like. This episode is really meant for the viewers who haven't watched the anime for 20 plus years and don't know who all of these characters are, and I think that's what's being lost on the old school fans who find this episode boring. Not everyone grew up watching these characters. There are a lot of young Pokemon fans, and yes, while the series is supposed to be a celebration of Ash's past, it's not just meant for older fans, it's also meant to attract new fans, and the way the episode goes about explaining the likes and the dislikes of our heroes who we'll be following for the next few episodes is really smart. It's fun, it's slightly sinister, and the story is still played for comedy, which really makes it a fun episode. I would say check it out. I think most people are going to enjoy this. The next episode seems like a self-contained small adventure with Beartic. However, I'm excited as the preview shows the return of Ash's Incineroar, Snorlax, Oshawott, and Talonflame, and also Misty's wearing her Heart Gold and Soul Silver outfit. It all looks really fun, I can't wait. But anyways, that is it for my review episode 3 of Aim to be a Pokemon Master. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, comment below on the whole Brock thing that I'm still confused about. You can follow me on Twitter at PdGaming, and that is it. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.